profitable stage. So let me check in, make sure I'm talking to the right people. Give me a wave or put a yes in the chat if this is you. Who wants a lot more clients? Who's like, I want to get a lot more clients. Like, you want to get, what's like really profitable? Like, maybe you're currently making, maybe you're not your first sale, or maybe you're under 50,000. Who would like to actually be a multiple six-figure coach and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year? Or if you're already doing six figures, who would like to get to seven figures? Give me a wave like that. Awesome. How about this? Who wants to know that when you invest in a sponsorship or an event, it's going to pay off? Who wants to know that your sponsorship is going to pay? And a couple more yeses. I'm going to ask you guys, hey, Evan, good to see you. Who wants to make a difference and work with people you absolutely love? Who would like that? Give me a thank you, guys. I see the waves and nods. You guys rock. Awesome. So I want to share with you guys, I want to share with you how to pick the right stage and how to get on them, and how one sponsorship we did, and it was one of my very first sponsorships, netted us over $100,000 in revenue. And how another sponsorship that we did about a year ago, we got 10 times our investment back. So we paid for sponsorship and we made 10 times back, and we made over $100,000 on that one as well. Would anyone like to learn how to do that? Like one speaking gig, 100 grand? It's possible. Cool. So in case you don't know me, just a quick introduction. If this is your first time to meet me or get to know me, my name's Jase, and we're going to jump in. I'm not showing a bunch of PowerPoints right now because we have a lot of work to do in this. But I do want to share this. More important than what I do is why I do it. And why I do this is I believe that you have a God-given mission that only you can do, and it can be fulfilled and funded through your business. And so that means what God put in my heart. You can believe in whatever you want. I believe in God. What God put in my heart a few years ago was to help people like you radically grow your business so you can make a big impact in the world and make a lot of money. And am I talking to the right people? Like, who thinks when your business grows, you're going to help a lot of people and you're going to make a big difference? And you guys, I'm still naive enough to believe that together we can change the world. So that's why I'm doing this today, to help you. Plus, when you make a bunch of money, what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to go to Disneyland? Are you going to retire a spouse? Are you going to get debt free, buy the dream car, take care of kids, make sure your retirement is set up, make sure you don't have to go back to a job, give to a political action committee that you want to, support the charity you want? So we want to help you make a ton of money through your business. Are you guys okay with making a lot of money in your business? All right, good. So that you can do a lot of good in the world for yourself and others. This event, how this event happened. So I've been speaking now since 2002. I'm in my, 22nd year of speaking now. And I've been selling from stage the entire time. That's really the only business model I've ever done. And I'm now more than ever convinced selling from stage is the most profitable way to grow a business. So first, check in with you guys. What do you sell? Please put it in the chat. What do you sell? What do you sell? Are you selling coaching? Are you selling membership site? Are you selling what? What are you selling? And then also, I'm going to ask a second question after that. So coaching. I'm selling sleep coaching, done for you coaching, small group coaching, cold and flu prevention, transformational coaching. So harmonic healing. Awesome. So most of your information marketers selling coaching of some sort. Oh, great. If you're here and you're not selling that, if you have something like Evan is on this call. Evan helps people with their finances and to live the American dream and make, really great choices with their money and help them with their mental and emotional stuff. He still thinks about it, and you could think about it as selling coaching. If there's anything involved where you're helping other people improve their life and you're teaching them how to do it, that falls in the world of coaching. Does that make sense? Cool. So next thing is, how much is it? Please put in the chat, how much is your coaching program? How much is your coaching program? 8,000, 5,000, 10,000, 1,000, 10,000, 6,000. Good. I'm liking these numbers. 3,000, 1997, 5, 12,5, 1,200 for 3 months. Great. 500 for 10,000, 5K year one, 25. Great. 5,000. Fantastic. Awesome. So I want to be clear. We teach how to sell from stage. I'm going to give you my personal opinions on how I believe you ought to price and structure your programs. I'm especially going to do that at our 3-day event. We're going to talk about how to structure your program so they're profitable. The reason I want to check in with how much you're doing is because when I teach you when you're going to learn how to evaluate what stages to be on, Whether or not that stage can be profitable for you depends in large part on how much your coaching program is and how good you are at selling it. Here's how this course came about. So I mentioned I've been selling from stage for 20 years, and back in 2005, we didn't have all the internet connection we had. The internet was around, but Facebook wasn't even going to be invented for 3 more years. We didn't have smartphones. It was not as easy. There's definitely nothing like Zoom. And my income was all based on when I spoke and when I spoke at a live event. So I would have to fly out somewhere, speak at a live event, and then I'd sell a ticket to one of my events. And back then I used to sell them for $2,500. But the challenge was, if I didn't have a speaking gig coming up, I had no money coming in. Does that make sense? And I'll never forget, I flew to Portland, Oregon for a speaking gig, and I did like $10,000 in sales. And at the time it was on what's called a 50-50 rev share. So the host made 50%, I made 50%. So my friend TJ, he made $5,000 and I made $5,000. And I remember thinking, I just made $5,000 in an hour speech, plus travel. If I could do this once a week, I'd have a $20,000 company. Does that make sense to y'all? So the challenge was, there was no consistent way to get stages. And I didn't know how to get on the right stages. And so I'd have gaps where I had no revenue. And then what really happened, a couple things happened when COVID hit, and anyone else, their business get shut down or life get hit, y'all, I'm sorry if that's you. And I get it. I have to say though, for us, business took off. Like, that's when we skyrocketed, because Zoom came around. We have 77 people. By the way, give yourself a round of applause. 77 people showed up. You guys are awesome. So we had 77 people here on a 1-hour Zoom. This is a stage. You guys get, this is a stage. And so when COVID hit, I'd shut everything down. One of my clients, Natalie, calls me. She's like, Jase, I did 7,000 in sales. They paid in full in 4 days. I'm like, freaking, if my client could do that, let me get on. I did a 1-hour speech at a 3-day event. I did a 1-hour speech at a 3-day event, set sales calls. I did $38,000 in sales, and we were off and running. We did 6 more. We averaged 38,000. Then we started doing 3-day events, and we averaged like 270,000 or something like that. So the point about this, since COVID hit, y'all, there's more stages than you could ever speak on in your life. Like, there's just no way. And it's exciting. So what I want to talk about today are the best stages to get on, how to get on them, and how to position yourself to be like chosen, and also how to pick which stages are going to be best for you. Is it okay with you guys if I go fast? Because we only got an hour and I got a lot to cover. Okay, first, the best stage, the absolute best stage to be on is your own stage. Your own stage is the absolute best stage because you own it. It's you could talk. The question is, how are you going to fill that stage? So before I go on, a lot of you have been from a lot of different coaches, and there's a lot of different theories about how to sell your coaching stuff. So can I get your agreement from right now that it's okay that I'm going to share my truth? I'm going to share only what works for us, no theory, what I'm seeing work for my clients. And if it's different, my request is you guys just take it on and consider it before you say yes or no to it. Just kind of sit with it. Is that cool, y'all? All right, so let's take filling your own stage. How are you going to fill your own stage? Go ahead and put it in the chat. How are you going to fill your own stage? And to be straight, some of these answers are going to be like, yes, that's what I was looking for. And I'm hoping some of these answers are like completely wrong. How are you going to fill your own stage? Yes, you guys are doing it right. No idea. Sandra, I'm so glad you're here. Sandra said no idea, and that's the best one. Nanette says one-on-one. Kathy says challenge webinars, ads, question mark, friends, family, networking, ads, JV partners, email lists. No idea, me too. Emails, challenges. Great. Awesome. Other people's stages. So let's take the scenario where you're going to fill your own stage. So your goal is, and by the way, Facebook moved all of the things, so I'm having to like find them again. So here's your stage. Let's pretend this is your stage right here. How are you going to get people to this stage? And everything you guys just put down is absolutely great, perfect answers. Let me get my chat back up. So you guys said you're going to do emails, ads, challenges, webinars, JV partners, invitations, referrals, email lists, JV, social media, challenges, masterclass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk about a challenge. If you're, and here's where I may be stepping on toes, you guys. And here's my truth for you. Who has done a challenge? Who on here has done a challenge? If you've done a challenge, did it take a little work or a lot of work? Y'all, you're working with speakers, and speakers are like herding cats. Like, I'm amazed that 80 of you are here. It's absolutely like my heart is filled with joy you guys got yourself here. But when you're doing a chat, like we're doing our big event next week, and my assistant Desi, we have a couple of guest speakers, has been messaging them for weeks. I need your picture. I need your bio. I need your picture. I need your bio. You will be amazed at how hard it is to get people to show up. So challenges, when you're brand new, y'all, it's a lot of work to get people to a challenge. And if you're going to sell from a challenge, really, you can set appointments and you can set lower price point things. So challenges take a lot of work. The next one is ads. Ads take, so this is a lot of work. The next is ads. If you even know how to do them, it takes a lot of money. Who here has run an ad, like a Facebook ad or something else? Put your hand up high if you've run an ad. Put them up higher. Let me see it. Now, keep your hand up if you've actually made money profitably with it. Most of the hands went down. Evan and Araya, your hands are up still. And Sean, Sean, you actually made money with Facebook ads. That's brilliant. I'm amazed. Y'all, I have a higher level coaching program, and I traded that coaching program for someone to run Facebook ads. And then I did it with another person. So I had tens of thousands of dollars in the experts running ads for me. And then I physically paid $20,000, like real money on the credit card, $20,000 in Facebook ads. For my $20,000 plus tens of thousands of dollars in coaching, I got 10 people to sign up for an event at $47 each. And none of the 10 showed up for the event. So none of the 10 bought a higher level coaching program. Ads, the only people that I see consistently make, oh boy, does anyone on here sell Facebook ad coaching or anything like that? Fred, just cover your ears for a second. The only people I see making money in Facebook ads are people who teach how to run Facebook ads. And so someone like Fred, hopefully Fred knows how to do it. Fred has cracked the code. Fred can help you out. Other than that, y'all, other than Fred, who's here, I'll just put it like this. We have a company that we coach. They're a multi-million-dollar company. And they were talking about creating a low price point thing to sell through ads. And they're like, we can't afford it. You can't afford to sell a low price point thing from ads when you're a new coach because it costs too much to run ads. Does that make sense? And in general, as a newer coach, it costs a lot of money to run ads. So, oof. All right, next one that people said was their friends. Yes, that's a beautiful way to do it. Get your friends to refer you. That's going to dry up eventually, though. I mean, like, and a big mistake a lot of new coaches make is they come out and they're like, oh, look at all these sales I'm making. And they don't realize they're just selling to a warm market, and then their stuff goes away. And let me go back and look at some of the other answers. JV partners. So JV partners is a great idea, except let's talk about JV partners. When you're brand new, how big is your list? And probably most of you, I imagine, are between $1 in sales and $100,000 in sales. Actually, we should check in. If you've made your first sale, you're like $1 up to 100,000, put a 1 in the chat. If you're between $1 and 100,000, if you're 100,000 and 250, put a 2 in the chat. If you're 250 and up, put a 3 in the chat. So 0 to 100,000, 1, 100,000 and 250, put a 2, 250 and up, put a 3. And if you haven't made your first sale, don't put a 0, put new in the chat. If you haven't made your first sale, put new in the chat. So most of you guys are one, a couple of threes. All right. When you're brand new, how big is your list? And so if you're going to JV with someone, they're going to want to see a track record that you can make them a bunch of sales, or they're going to ask you to market in return. So how good of a JV partner are you going to get off the bat when you're newer? When you're in category 2, you're over 100,000, you've got a track record. When you're in category 3, you've got a track record. But those of you guys that are newer, you don't have a track record yet. So let me go back and look at what other ways you guys said to grow your thing. Webinars. So how are you going to host a webinar? How are you going to drive people to a webinar? It's the same challenge. Not meaning you run a challenge. It's the same challenge you're going to face. How are you going to get people to your webinar? How are you going to get people to promote your webinar? So I'm not trying to discourage you guys. I'm trying to show you what's the best stage. Are you guys getting that? Is anyone feeling like, well, crap, what is the answer here? I hope so, because most people aren't doing the right thing. There's one path to cash that is the fastest path to cash. It's the number one way to cash. If you want to make sales, impact a lot of people, change a lot of lives. So if we go back to this, all of these take a lot of time and money, especially when you're new. Now, once you've got your business together, like I have a team that can help me out. I have Desi, my assistant, and Natalie, my COO, and Shiraz, and a bunch of coaches, and we got great people in our community. So we can host a challenge. We got the money for a challenge. We can run ads, even though I'm not fans. We ran ads for this challenge, like what you're learning today. We have friends. We're big enough. We can have JV partners, so we can fill a stage, right? Do you guys want to know the fastest, easiest path for you to get in front of a ton of your ideal clients? This is the fastest, easiest way for you to get in front of a ton of your going clients. At the beginning, don't try to build your own stage. That's your best stage. You own it. That's the best stage. But at the beginning, instead of trying to do all this work to build a stage, find a stage that's already been built. In other words, go to a stage someone else built. So I want you to imagine, who is your ideal perfect client? If you could get on stage in front of your ideal perfect client and make an offer, what could happen for you? What could happen for your business? So instead of trying to build your own stage, go find the ideal stage that's already been built with your ideal clients. Give me a nod if this is kind of making any sense so far at all. Cool. And we'll talk about how to find those and how to get on them or how to be chosen for those in a moment. So find that stage. So then the question becomes, why would they put you on their stage? Why in this world would people put you on their stage? And I was thinking about how to share this with you this morning. I was like, don't be too smart ass about it. Some people like, I'm a great speaker. So what? There's a lot of great speakers. I'm super nice. So what? There's a lot of people that are nice. There's 3 reasons people will put you on their stage. If you want to write these down, 1, you're going to help them grow their stage. So if you have a big following and a lot of people, you can get on a lot of really good stages for free because you could bring a lot of people to the stage. The second reason, you pay to be on that stage. You pay them a check to be on the stage, and then that's called the sponsorship fee. And with that sponsorship fee, they can go sponsor more events, do more speaking, and get more people to the event, or they can do whatever with that money in order to get people to that event. Does that make sense so far? And then the third way, you make a lot of sales and you do what's called a revenue split with them. You do a rev share. A rev share. So let me unpack this. And how many of you are really familiar? You can give me a nod or put a yes. How many are really familiar with this whole sponsoring events world? I'm seeing a lot of these. Okay. So let's break down the different places you can speak and how effective they are and what you can sell from different places. So a lot of people are saying do podcasts. Podcasts are lovely for exposure and practice. And I just met a lady who every time she hosts someone on her podcast or she guests on someone else's, she sees if she could do business with the podcast owner. Here's the challenge, you guys. You don't know how many people are actually listening to the podcast, and it might be nobody. And there's so many podcasts out there. People like, I got a podcast, and like 2 people listen, and you'll never know. I would encourage you to never pay for a podcast, never pay to be on a podcast. You might get some business out of it. It's definitely great practice. Next place a lot of people are speaking on are challenges. Have you guys seen like, well, this is kind of a challenge. I'm sorry, I should have said a summit. Next place, a lot of people are speaking on summits, and a summit is typically like 3 to 5 days, and it's speaker, 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 and typically all the speakers give something away. So I want you to think about how many speakers speak on a summit, how many give something away, and how easy it is for the viewers to get lost. So can you make money from summits? Yes. Natalie Lavelock is my COO. She has her own company. Here's what Natalie does. You guys want to write this down. Let's talk about summits as a stage. What she does is she speaks for her half hour to an hour, and she gives a free gift. Maybe it's like a free report on creating part of your funnel or something. She also includes in her gift a 2-hour masterclass. Her real goal is to get people to the 2-hour masterclass. And at the 2-hour masterclass, she upsells her coaching program. So let me draw that out for you guys. So the way you can leverage a summit is, sorry, like I said, Facebook's moved all my stuff. So you've got a summit you're going to speak on up here. And at the summit, you give free report plus, and you could do it from 1 to 4 hours. 2 hours is a nice time, hour master class. And you're going to teach a lot at that master class. So ideally, if you do this, you're going to have a whole bunch of people sign up for your master class. And then at your master class, you can sell. You can sell starting at any point. If you've got 2 hours, I would want you to sell something that's at least $1,000 up to, you could sell 10,000 bucks at your masterclass. So this is a formula for making money on a summit. Personally, I've never done it. I've never had success. Natalie has had a ton of success. Natalie is actually going to teach Summit Success during our event just for the VIPs. During one of the lunch breakouts, Natalie's going to teach exactly what she does to make money with summits. Did you guys all understand that so far? Anybody have a question, like you didn't follow it or you want me to share it again? Put it in the chat, or under reactions, click raise digital hand and I'll call you up on stage and I will answer questions. So anybody have a question about summits? Cool. So let's talk about, while we're talking about summits and what you can sell, what you can sell based on your time on stage and where you are in the client journey. If you're speaking for 30 minutes or less, giving something away like a free report and or that 2-hour class, master class, totally workable. If you're speaking up to an hour, and I'm talking about whether this is a summit or at an event, if you're speaking up to an hour, then you can offer a discovery call. A discovery call, you guys know discovery calls are sales calls, right? Well, so does your audience. When your audience sees you for a half hour or less, it's a big leap to go to a discovery call. 15 minutes, it's really hard to offer discovery calls. You might pull it off, but it's tough because they don't know you. Ideally, if you speak for 45 minutes to an hour, they know you, they're in love with you, they want to do this, and they're like, okay, I'll book a discovery call with you. An hour is long enough to earn enough of their trust and to give enough value that they want to build a discovery call. They want to book a discovery call with you. So an hour lets you sell a discovery call. On the discovery call, you can sell everything from $1,000 to $20,000. Really 25,000 bucks. We've sold 25,000 from a discovery call. So I spoke at an event for an hour. I offer discovery calls And on the discovery calls, we were selling $5,000 up to $25,000 packages, and we made those sales. Does that make sense so far? Cool. From a summit, I think it's best to do, even if you have an hour, to do the free report and to do the masterclass. From speaking at someone else's 3-day event. So now I'm starting to segue into what your most profitable stage is. Your most profitable stage is that 3-day event that someone else built. Let me say it again. Your most profitable stage is the 3-day event that someone else built. So the ideal stage to be on is a 3-day event. Where is my grab? Three-day event stages are your number one stages to speak and get clients. And when you're going to speak at a 3-day event, you want to make sure you have at least 45 minutes to an hour. An hour used to be industry standard. Today, industry standard is becoming about 45 minutes. And from your 3-day event, you can offer, from speaking on someone else's 3-day event, you can offer discovery call. You can offer the give plus a class. You could offer a ticket to a future event, like your own 3-day event. Where I recommend you guys start, especially if you're at below $100,000 in revenue right now, I recommend you do a discovery call. Here's why. They're here at a 3-day event. They've been trained to show up. Ideally, they all bought VIP. They're having an amazing experience and they're more committed. They're at a 3-day event. So inherent in them being at a 3-day event, they're more committed people. So if you offer the ticket to a future event, you're just delaying the sale. I would move them right to the discovery call and make a sale. When you guys, please make sure you guys are muted. When you are bigger and you're hosting your own 3-day event, you can give away tickets to your own 3-day event, or you could sell VIP for 97 or 197 bucks. Is this making sense to you guys so far? Michael, I see your hand. I'll call on you in a minute. The other thing you can do when you have your chops is you can sell from stage right into a course. And this means you're probably going to do a revenue share or pay big. So this is. Let me unpack what I mean by this. Let's suppose you're going to get on stage and there's 100 people in the room. So this stage is going to have 100 people. I've seen in our industry, if you can close 20% of the room, and you guys want to write this down, 20% is a magic number. If you can close 20% of the room at any phase I'm talking about, you're going to have a very profitable business. And I know for some people, 20% might not sound like a lot. 20% is fantastic, guys. And if you can consistently close 20%, you're going to be at a multiple 6-figure to 7-figure business. So if there's 100 people and you get on stage, and let's suppose you're going to do this, you're going to sell right from that stage into a course. And let's suppose you're going to put, give me 1 sec, guys. It's really driving me nuts that I can't do this stuff. There it is. Found it. So let's suppose you're going to sell a $2,000 course. Well, if you do 20% of the room, that's 20 sales. That means you just had a $40,000 sales day. That's not bad, is it? That's $40,000. Now that's gross sales. So how are you going to get on this stage? You're going to do one of the following. You're either going to pay on a rev share, what we call a 50-50. So that means you make 20K, promoter makes 20K. Are y'all understanding this concept? Anybody have a question on this concept? And Michael, I know your hand's up. I'll come to you in one moment. Does anyone have a question on this concept? Michael, your hand's not up. Raise your digital hand if you have a question on this concept so far about the rev share. Super. Michael, okay, Michael, what have you got? Let's bring you up on stage. What have you got, Michael?
Mine was more about how you distinguish between a live in-person or virtual as far as 3-day events, and do you?
No, I don't. Good question. I don't care anymore. Actually, I prefer virtual. Here's why. Well, let me backtrack. When I give opinions, I'm giving some from my own point of view. As a coach, I have to get into your world. And so I would ask you, when you're considering if you want to sponsor Zoom, online, or in person, do you want to travel? If you want to travel, then the in-person's better. How often do you want to speak, and how much money do you have for sponsorships? So live events are better because your sales go up. You guys might want to write that again. I should rephrase that. In-person events are better for sales. Your sales rates go up. Why? Because you're person to person. You can make a connection. So whether you're hosting your own 3-day event where you're going to sell an advanced coaching program, or you're guest speaking on someone else's event, your sales will go up because you're person to person, and it's easier to close the deal. But like, hey, do you want to do this advanced coaching program I have? By the way, if you're going to sponsor an in-person event, attempt to speak early as in the event, as early as possible. Here's why. My experience having a booth at an event is people walk by the booth like this. Like 5% of people will come and say hi. The rest are like trying to not make eye contact with you. And then I speak, and then people flood the booth. So I would rather speak day one, so I have 3 more days to pick up sales. If it's a virtual event, we get no traction at the booth on virtual events. You guys, I would not sponsor an event virtually with only a booth. I think it's a huge waste of money. The only time I would sponsor an in-person event and get just the booth is if it's a stage I want to get on in the future, and this gets me a foot in the door, or if there's enough of my ideal clients in the room, I think I can pick up some sales. Typically, I only sponsor something that has a speaking component. Why? Because everything speaking does positions you as the expert. You get to cherry pick clients, you get reciprocity, all the stuff we're going to teach you at the 3-day event. So I will only sponsor nowadays if I have a speaking gig, unless it gets me a foot in the door. So live events, that's why you choose live events. Why would you choose virtual? Well, I'm in Boise now. Betsy and I hosted an event last week. You were here in Boise with us. Michael's one of our people. And so we did 5 days. We had 5 days. We coached people. And then Sunday we went to a wedding. And then I had 2 speaking gigs on Monday. And I didn't have to leave Boise. I just had to fire up my computer. And we had a whole bunch of people sign up for the event. During the event last week, I had 2 speaking gigs. So while we're hosting, I had my other coaches teach people, and I went in a different room and did 2 different Zooms and spoke to close to 500 people. So between last week and this week, I've been in really close to 600 people without having to leave Boise. So virtual events are fantastic. How I choose if it's financially worthwhile, it's exactly what I'm showing you right now. It's the same thing I'm showing you right now. Does that answer your question? Let's send Michael. You guys, one things we do in our community, we send love and energy from our heart to theirs. Let's picture Michael rocking stage. It goes like this. Whoosh. Let's all send Michael a big whoosh. Whoosh. Ready? Whoosh. Great question, Michael. Thank you, sir. So back to the rev share. So if you're going to speak and sell on someone else's stage and you follow this model, this is great because you had no money out of pocket. Now, some people are like, why should I give up 50% of my sales? You guys, that's kind of industry standard. If a shirt is sold in the store for $50, the store probably bought it for $25, marked it up 100%, sells it for 50. That's kind of standard. And then you're paying this person, because remember all that work we said we didn't want to do to fill up the event? They've done that work. And so they're due a reward. Plus, we have sponsors for my event, and it's not like I'm taking that money and going and vacation with it. I took that sponsorship money and I used it to get on more stages, to sponsor other stages so I could get a bigger event. Does that make sense? So you're going to revenue share with them, or you're going to pay a sponsorship fee. And in this case, you might be paying somewhere like 15 to 20,000. Every stage is different, but you might be paying 15 to 20,000. So if you pay a sponsorship fee, you do not rev share. So if you're going to pay a sponsorship fee and you do 40,000 in sales, less the sponsorship fee, you've made 25 to 30,000. Does that make sense? Now let's suppose the sponsorship fee was only 10,000 and you do 40,000 in sales. That means you made 30K, 30K profit. Does that land for y'all? Is anyone not clear on that? You guys getting this? Great. It's important to know these numbers. So you made 30,000 profit. Here's the challenge. If you speak and you don't do 20%, let's suppose you only do 10% of the room, you sell 10 people at 20,000, well, you're still up. But if you sell less than that, you might be losing money. Like I just saw a speaker speak at an event and he paid like $18,000 in sales, and I mean in sponsorship fee, but he only did like $9,000 or $10,000 in sales. So he was down 10, except he's banking on some of those people buying his advanced programs, which will then get him profitable. Now, not all of you have the money to do this. And to be clear, on this left side, this is when you're going to make a direct sale. Like you're going to make a sale in the moment. The other side is when you're going to not ask for money, or at the max, it's going to be like 97 bucks. On this side, you're not pulling money out of the room. You're not tapping the money. On this side, you are pulling money out of the room. You are getting people to spend a good chunk of change. So the promoter charges you more on this side. On the right side, you're just offering a discovery call, or you're giving something away, or you're giving, $97 max is what you're asking for. So on the right side, your sponsorships cost a lot less. So on this side, your sponsorship is probably only going to be like about 2,500 to 5,000 sponsorship fee. And that's a marketing fee, guys. You're paying to market, and in your business, you've got to have a marketing fee set aside. Is this landing so far? So let's talk about running numbers on this right side, and why I want to see you guys have certain levels of things that you sell. If you sponsor this 100-person event and you're giving away a free ticket, I would like you to see 30 to 40% of the people get that free ticket. If you're offering a discovery call, I'd like to see you get 20% of the people book a discovery call. Our internal goal for discovery calls, like for our clients, is we really want you to see 30% book a call. Our internal numbers, we typically do about 40%. But let's suppose you do 30% book a call. I'm going to erase some of the stuff over here so it's a little bit cleaner now. Give me a second. If I could find their eraser now. Screen cap it if you want to screen cap it. I'm about to erase some of this. All right. Boom. All right. So if you do this model, 30% book a call, that means you're going to take 30 calls. If you stink, you should close 10%. If you're horrible, you should close 10%. If you're on point, you should close 20%. And if you're good, 30%. So let's suppose 30%, 30 calls, that means 3 sales. How much is your coaching program? If it's 1,000, you just brought in $3,000 and you just lost $2,000 because you paid. So I'll do the math over here. So if you pay 5K and you make 3K in sales, you're negative 2K. I recommend you get a 5K coaching program together, and everyone can do it. If you went VIP for the upcoming event, and I'll give you a chance to go VIP in a minute. We did a training on writing and creating your 5K and your 25K coaching programs. I think it's the thing that makes money now. It makes sense now. It's profitable now, and the market gets it and will pay it. So let's run back to this example. If you have 30 calls and you only do 10%, so you make 3 sales. Well, if you do 3 sales times 5K, now you're at 15K. So now you're up 10,000 positive because you paid your sponsorship fee of 5K. So you make a 10K profit. I see some eyes starting to glaze. You guys following this or no? Like you've got to, you almost stopped the screen share so I could really land this. Y'all, if you're going to run this business, you got to know this stuff. And some people like, I don't understand numbers. Well, then get with a coach who understands them and ask them what you should sponsor and what you shouldn't, or learn how to do numbers. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing money away and you're not going to understand why your business isn't profitable. Am I being too like dad-like, or is this okay? Good. I want you to hear this as your advocate who wants you to win, like your advocate who wants you to win. So you guys, Sherry and other people, raise your digital hands. I like to bring you guys on stage to answer questions. So let's go back to our example here. So let's suppose you have that 5K program and you don't stink at sales. You do 20%. That means you make 30 calls. 20% is 6 sales times 5K equals a 30K presentation. And if you do 30%, that's 9 sales times 5K. And that's 45K in sales. And this is exactly what I did during COVID that really took our business from multiple 6 figures to a 7-figure business. So let me answer some questions and then we'll go from there. Alicia, what have you got? Hey, Alicia, I haven't seen you for a while. How are you?
Hi, nice to see you. Thank you for doing this. I'm just curious, in your last example, how the sponsor fee went from 20K, which was when you first started out, to the 5K that you're using right now.
Yep, because when you're selling from their stage, like you're on stage and you're going to say, buy now, spend $2,000 right now, you're pulling $2,000 out of the room for every person that buys. Now, I believe people will find the money for anything. And yet, you know, if someone has like a budget for education, well, let me back up. The person you're speaking on their 3-day stage, why are they hosting a 3-day stage?
Right, so as an enrollment event.
Yeah, they're selling people into their $20,000 program.
Right.
And so if you're pulling $2,000 a head out, there's a fear it could hurt their sales, but also you're pulling a lot of cash out of that room. So they're either going to want a 50-50 rev share.
Right.
And so like when I first started sponsoring, I paid I paid a sponsorship to this first stage plus a little bit of rev share. I did, I think, a 10% rev share, and they saw I crushed sales, and they're like, you don't even have to pay a sponsorship fee, just pay us the revenue share. And if people see you can sell really well, revenue share, they'll be happy to put you on their stage. But if they're not sure, and if you think about it, typically it's day 1 of a 3-day event. There's one spot where you let people sell something that's like $2,000. If you're going to let them sell it all, it's day 1 afternoon. And so that's a spot they can monetize and commoditize. And so they either want to be sure they're going to get money back on a rev share, or they're going to charge a lot for someone to come and do a sell on their stage, but then you don't have to rev share.
Right. So is, in the example that you just gave, where you had the $5,000, was that a hybrid $5,000 sponsor fee, which is just sort of their insurance plus the 50-50 revenue share?
Oh, no. So,
okay.
So when you're only going to offer a discovery call or give away tickets to an event,
Okay, got it.
it's not a big thing because you're not pulling money out of the room. All you're doing is having people book calls.
Okay, I see. Okay, so I was confused because on the left side, really what you're doing is building out what's on the right side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I just
Got it.
got room on the left side. I didn't backtrack. And I think I confused a couple of people that spatially. I apologize, guys. So let me just recap it while Alicia's here. If you're going to do a direct sale from their stage, you're going to pay a huge sponsorship fee or you're going to rev share. If
Right.
you're just going to set discovery calls, your sponsorship fee goes way down. So what do you think I'm encouraging all of you who are newer to do?
The right side.
Discovery calls.
Yeah.
Discovery calls. Plus, you guys, it's selling from stage. I don't want to dissuade, and let's all send Alicia a whoosh. Ready? Then we'll go to Sherry in a second. Thank you. Great question, Alicia. I'm sure someone else had that. You guys, I don't want to dissuade you from this. I want you to get the importance of training. Selling from stage is hard, y'all. It's hard. And if you don't have the right training, it's impossible. You'll make a couple of sales. I believe you're either great and you make a lot of sales, or you suck and you make very few to none. There's really no in between. There's really no in between, y'all. And it comes down to, did people buy or not? When you're a beginner and you're learning to speak and sell, asking people to spend $2,000 and everyone to run to the back or go to it's really tough. Offering a discovery call is easy. It's just like, book a call. Let's have a conversation. It's so easy for them to do. It's so much easier for you guys to sell it. So I highly encourage you. Plus, it's less risk. You're not going to be paying $20,000 for sponsorship. You'll be paying maybe $1,000 up to $5,000. Get the sponsorships where you're going to be offering discovery calls. And I'm going to have to answer this question. Then let's move to finding those stages. Sherry, you're up. What have you got, Sherry?
I just wondered if you advocated a $5,000 program over a $10,000 program, or if 5,000 is just less scary for people.
Here's why I encourage you guys all to come up with a 5K program. And during the event, we'll go over it. And did you sign up yet? Are you VIP yet? Great. We sent that out. That's in the library, is how to create your 5 and 25K programs. It's the higher the price you ask for, the fewer people that will buy. And so some people go, well, I should just do $1,000 thing. 1,000 to 5,000. If you build it right, the same people that would buy at 1,000 will buy at 5,000, especially because you can offer payment plans because you're going to structure it over 6 months or a year. Above that to 10,000 starts to get more expensive and you're going to have a precipitous drop off. What I would encourage you to do is to come up with like a 5,000 and a 15 or 20,000 and offer both of those, because 5,000 people can do it. Plus, I don't want to get too off track on how we structure our coaching programs, but you guys, the money, the more people love you and the more value they get from you, the more they're going to want to buy from you. And the money is made on the back end. You guys might want to write this down. The money is on the back end. So if you have 10 people buy from you at 5,000, you just made 50,000 bucks. That's a really good payday. If you love these people and serve these people and you give great value for them, a big portion of them are going to be like, Sherry, I want more of you. How do I work with you closer? And that's when you offer a 10, 15, or $20,000 program. And our goal is 30%. We want to see 30% of people that come in at 5,000 upgrade to 20,000. So 30% of, let's suppose you get 10 people in at 5,000. So you made 50,000 bucks. And then 30%, 3 people are going to buy your $20,000 program. And that's all profit. You don't have to pay a sponsorship fee or revenue share on them because they're already your clients. So now you're going to make $60,000 in upsells from those people. Does that make sense? Are you following the math at all?
I'm following it. My issue is I can't make any money from what I sell at $5,000.
Well,
because I have
remember,
hard costs.
I'm just teaching you what works for me. Okay.
Right.
What do you
Yeah.
sell?
I sell a book package, a publishing package.
So there's a couple of options. One, you can create a group coaching program on how to get your book down and sell that for 5K, where it's a group thing. You're not doing as much of the one. Your thing is less coaching. Yours is more of a service.
Mm-hmm.
And so 10 to 15,000 for that it's doable. It's okay. You can sell that. I mean, that's what they're expecting. And that's for the rest of you who are coaches, you can do group coaching and get people in a 5K. And that's how I recommend you guys do it. For you, people get it's a service, and so you can command more for that. So yeah, you could sell a $10,000 thing for a book publishing thing. You're not doing like a coaching package.
Okay,
So does that make sense? For the
thank you.
rest of you though, don't get thrown up. And also you guys, whatever you choose to sell, we're going to teach you how to sell it from stage. The way you sell anything, whether it's $97 or $100,000, the way you sell from stage is the same. And we're going to talk about that during the event. So great question, Sherry. Let's send Sherry a whoosh and picture her making a lot of 10K sales. Nice. All right. So let me show this again, just to recap it so everybody's clear. This is all really meant to be around all of this stuff I drew over here. This all really fits with the right side. You know, this all goes over here. I just needed space to draw it out. Are you guys clear on that? Cool. All right. So now let's talk about, so let me see, get some nods or put a yes in the chat. Are you seeing the value of sponsoring someone else's event? Hey, Mark Morris, I haven't seen you for a while. I'm seeing a bunch of people I haven't seen for a while. Are you guys seeing the value? Yes, 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 yes. Now, from the 3-day event, why did I set discovery calls? How come I'm not a fan of offering a 2-hour masterclass? Because the 2-hour masterclass, they now have to show up and then you sell them. And you got to do a direct sale from a stage. It's harder. It's a lot faster and easier to go right to the discovery call. So some quick things, if you're going to follow this method, I want to make sure you do. Typically 3-day events today are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Out of respect for the stage, let's pretend the master class, the stage is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You do not start taking discovery calls until it's over Saturday night or Sunday or Monday. Because it would just be rude for you to speak on Thursday and take calls all Friday and Saturday. That would be rude to the host. And as a host, I'd be pissed off and would never have you back. So make sure your booking system doesn't even allow them to book a call until after it's over Sunday or Monday. Does that make sense? Next thing, if you're going to sponsor, make sure you take the next week off. Have nothing else to do, because you want to set up your calendar system where it makes them book within the next 5 days. Like it forces them to book within 5 days, because if they can book 2 weeks out, by the time they talk to you, they'll forget who in the heck you are and why they booked a call with you. They'll be like, I don't even remember who you are anymore. So you can set your system. And if you don't know how to do it, my assistant Desi, hire her. She'll do it for you. She's a VA for speakers. She's brilliant. So set it so they have to book within the next 5 days. And then you need to take time off so you can crush as many sales as possible in those next 5 days. And what'll happen is you'll get some no's and you'll get some yeses. What I have found happens for people, when you get a yes and then another yes, you get on a roll and then you start closing like crazy. Something happens inside of you when you start getting that 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. You lose your attachment to the next sale. And the less attached you are to the sale, the more sales you actually make. And so then you get on this roll. Pop, 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 pop. All right. Any questions on that? Yeah, momentum. Kathy said it. Kathy said it perfectly. Any questions on any of that so far? I don't see any hands up. All right. So let's talk about, how do you get more stages? How do you get on these 3-day stages? Well, one, you're just going to pay. I mean, that's your barrier to entry, frankly. They want to know you're going to do good. But typically, most promoters are just looking for sponsors. And if you have cash, they're going to put you on their stage. What will help you is to have good headshots, good photos on stage, and some film of you being on stage. That will help. The biggest thing that's going to get you on stage, though, it's your pocketbook. Here's the next way to get on more stages. Rock the stages you are on. Knock it out of the park with the stages you're currently on. Because what will happen is, when you finish speaking, people will come over to you and be like, you rocked it. Can you come speak on my stage? And then the promoter, the person that you paid to be on their stage, promoters are in masterminds together. They talk a lot. They're friends. They're going to tell each other what stage to get on. So when you rock the stage you're on, promoters are going to talk. And then we're going to give you a list of places that you can go for free and some paid during the 3-day event. But I'll just name some now. JV Directory has a paid thing where you can network and connect with other people who have stages. and you can put out in there that you're looking for sponsorship opportunities. A woman named Danella has a thing called Danella's List. Linda Kane runs Blue Diamond Events. And Speakers Playhouse has a thing every Thursday you can get on and look for sponsorship stages. Here's frankly, can I just give you guys the straight poop on how to get on stages? Like the ultimate straight poop, no fluffy fancy stuff. You get on your first stage. And then what you do is you talk to every other speaker, because speakers hang out with speakers. You get to be friends with every other speaker. And then you also look who's sponsoring, and you call them up and see what they're up to. And if they have an event, and when you meet people at an event, it opens the door for you to speak at their event if they're having one. That, frankly, that's the biggest way, is you jump in, you get on that first stage, and then you leverage out that first stage by being great and then connecting with all the other speakers. Going back to Michael's question about live or Zoom, if you're looking to get on the circuit and pick up a bunch of sponsorships, going to live in-person events is invaluable. Going to live in-person events is invaluable because you get to shake hands, you get conversations over lunch and dinner, you get drinks together, coffee, whatever. And in those conversations, hey, do you have a stage coming up? And then people are like, yeah. And then like, oh my gosh, can I sponsor your stage? And then I'm going to give you questions to ask to make sure it's a good stage. By the way, has this class been valuable for you guys so far? Give me a yes if this has been awesome. How many of you are coming to our event next week? Who's coming to our event next week? Most of you. Awesome. So for those of you who aren't yet coming, you guys, what I want to do is make a special offer for those who aren't yet registered, get them in, and then I'm going to go over the questions you've got to ask in order to know that you're doing the right stages. So real quick, I'm going to take like 2 minutes on this. I'm going to power through this. Desi, get those links ready. We're doing a virtual event. We're starting next Thursday, you guys. I'm so pumped. Betsy, my wife, and I fly to Canada on Monday. We start next Thursday. It's November 2 through 4. We're going 9 a.m. to 7 Mountain each day, November 2 through 4. Value's $34.95. I think most of you don't know this. We're giving away a $50,000 prize to someone who attends. To win the prize, you've got to be on camera and there all 3 days. And I want to be clear, I'm not giving away 50 prizes that total up to $1,000. This is one prize worth $50,000 that's going to make a major impact in someone's business. So here's what we've got. It's yours for only $97 when you register today. So Des, can you drop that link in the chat, please? Go to, oh, she already did it, the VIPupgrade.com, and use the coupon code SFS97. Here's what you're going to get. We did an intensive on dynamic delivery. That's worth, you're going to get all these bonuses, $1,000. You're going to get a training on language patterns to close deals. That's worth $497. You're going to get a training on making videos so you look like a pro. That's worth $497. And then these ladies, I helped them in 18 months. They went from never doing an event to $2.3 million in sales. You're going to get the training I did with them. That's $497. And you're going to get a VIP upgrade. We're going to have VIP only trainings. Natalie's going to talk about summit success and how to leverage summits for profitability. We're going to have VIP only networking. That's priceless. So the whole package is worth over $6,000. It's yours today for $97. So go to the VIPupgrade.com. If you already got a free ticket to the event and you want to upgrade and get all these bonuses and get, we're not offering the free tickets anymore. If you want to get all the bonuses and you want to get the VIP only sessions, just go to the upgrade link and upgrade right there. So how it works, you want to come to this page and I'll screen share it to show you what it looks like. You come to this page. And actually, let me just show you how it looks like. Let me just, do you guys see Chrome opening on my computer now? Like, do you see where it says use SF user discount code? No, not yet. Okay, let me do a new share. All right, so here, click the button. It's going to look like this. And in here, put SFS97 and click the purple button. And it makes it $97. Let me do that again. So click the link that Desi put in the chat. And this is critical. You got to put SFS97. And then you see this bouncing red arrow, click the check mark. It makes it $97. Click continue, put all your information in, and you will get a VIP tickets to the event. So what else you're going to get for being VIP? You are also going to get the one I just mentioned that we did a couple of weeks ago on creating your 5 and 25K programs. By the way, who was on when that sweet lady shared her results from attending this? Was anyone there? So one of the ladies came to this training about creating your 5 and 25K coaching program. Her next sales call, she had like a referral. She's like, Jase told me to offer 5K. So I offered a 5K program. I was so scared. And they said yes. She made her first first $5,000 sale within a week of taking this training. So it's yours for like $97. Go to the VIP upgrade. And this one I just decided to add 2 weeks ago for everyone who goes VIP and you have to show up for the event. You're going to get the template plus a 2-part video training. This is the exact, you guys, I use this template to write today's presentation, but you have to be VIP and you have to show up for the event to get that for free. So you're going to get all of that. That's worth $997. So everything together is worth over $7,000. It's yours for only $97. So go to the VIPupgrade.com and use code SFS97 and you get all of that. So let me go into the questions you need to ask and let me answer some of the questions I saw in the chat. This is virtual. It is a virtual event. Everyone, please do this if you haven't done it already. Whatever you use, whether it's a calendar on your phone or a paper calendar, block out 9 to 7 each day, Mountain Time. That's 8 to 6 Pacific. That's 9 to 7 Mountain is 11 to 9 East Coast. In Central, you're on your own. You got to figure that out. So book out 9 to 7 Mountain each day and talk to your family. Be like, look, I'm investing in my life. I'm investing in our life. I need to concentrate for these 3 days. Plan to have your camera on. By the way, so many of you have your camera on. You guys rock. I would say like 60% of the people here, most of the people here have their camera on. That's phenomenal. If you're not sure how to look good on camera, watch the video you get as a bonus because we're going to have people looking for speakers at this event. Oh, one other thing. Desi, should I tell them the other bonus we just added?
Absolutely.
So we're going to have a way someone can get a free speaking spot at our future How to Sell from Stage. So you can get in front of hundreds of ideal clients, depending on what you sell. So the bonuses, someone asked where the bonuses come. We sent you an email with your own login to get into our membership site. And you can log into the back office. You get all of those. It is a virtual event. Hey, if you just got a ticket, if you're new and you're going to be joining, put VIP in the chat. If you're new and you just got a ticket today, put VIP in the chat. And if you're already coming, put yes in the chat. If you're already coming, put a yes in the chat, please. I want to know who's coming, who's joining us. Mona, Lucy, Lynn, Renee. Awesome. 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 It's all right if your computer crashes, just be on for all you can. Wendy, welcome. Tiffany, welcome. Susie, Jeffrey, fantastic. All right. Good. Looking for my card. Sherry, find your card. Good, good. So you're going to get all those bonuses, you guys. The VIP only sessions are really going to be phenomenal at this event as well. All right. So now let's move to the last part of this training, the questions you've got to ask when you're looking at a sponsorship. Want to ask these every time. So first is the demographic. Some people will say, you know, I've got a great stage. Well, I'm going to have hundreds of people there. I had someone I really like this person now, but before I got to know them, they pitched me on sponsoring their event, and their event was all about dating. And my stuff isn't about dating. I mean, if you're single and you speak, you're going to meet more people. I met my wife when I was speaking. I mean, I was on stage. It makes you look better, but it's not really niche to people who are dating. Does that make sense? So the first thing you want to ask is, what's the event about? And who's going to be in the room? The demographics, like, tell me more about the people in the room. And people should know, like for our event, we have mostly coaches, speakers, authors, trainers. It's full of people who want to sell from stage. Mostly they're solopreneurs. Most of them are between 0 and 100,000. And we have a good amount of people that are 100,000 and up. Like, we know who's coming. We know their challenges. We know who they are. So your first question is demographics. Your second question, how many people will be in the room? And by the room, I mean on the Zoom or in the actual room. Third question, is there a guarantee on those amount of people? So if they say there's going to be 100 people, it's a $5,000 sponsorship. That's fair, you guys. $50 per head is kind of standard today. If you're going to sponsor a huge event, like it's 400 people, then it drops down. It probably would be like a $16,000 sponsorship, which is more like 40 bucks a head. If it's going to be like 600 people, it might be like 17,000, which is just under $30 a head. So if you can get a sponsorship for $20 to $25 a head, that's gold. Like jump on it as long as it's the right demographics. Now, what you do want to do is ask for a guarantee. So let's suppose it's 5,000 for 100 people. That averages 50 bucks a head. Most people don't say, I'll discount you $50 per head under 100, but they might say, if there's under 75 people, I'll give you back 2,000 bucks. Or if there's under 75 people, I'll discount you 50 bucks a head for every person under 75, something like that. But look for a guarantee. Look for a guarantee. Ask for a guarantee. Some people are just like, no, I won't give you a guarantee. If it's a great stage and they have a track record, it's worth it. Like the best stage we've been on the last 2 years, they don't offer a guarantee, and it's been a phenomenal stage. I would not sponsor something though that's 20,000 and up without a guarantee. And I would not do it without this. You want to speak, please write this down. If it's a live event in person, you don't have to worry about it. If it's online, make sure it is Zoom meeting style and not Zoom teleseminar style or webinar style. I like seeing your faces. I see a lot of people looking down, taking notes. I know you're engaged when I tell jokes. I like seeing like that one person laugh. I like the interaction. Thank you. I saw you, Renee. I get energy. I can see you, and I can see how many people are on. We now have 70 people on. When you're doing webinar style, it goes out and you're just speaking to a camera and you can't see anyone. It just sucks. Plus, you have no idea how many people are watching. Some people will try and charge $20,000 for a sponsorship, and they will tell you, oh, we're pushing it out to Facebook groups. That's horrible. Like, you don't have any idea how many people are watching. They're not engaged. They're not captivated. So don't do it. You don't do it. Michelle asked, by the way, I'm jumping to the chat. Will we get recordings of the event? No, there's no recordings of the 3-day event. Guys, do you think we might be offering something at a 3-day event called How to Sell from Stage, where I'm talking about selling coaching programs? Like, it would be completely out of integrity if I didn't. When you're hosting a 3-day event and you're offering an upsell, you never offer recordings, because then people won't show up live, and people who don't show up live don't buy. If you want to have a chance for people to buy, they have to show up live. So do everything you can. We're offering a $50,000 prize for you guys to show up live. We want you there live. It impacts both our businesses. Okay, cool. So back to the questions. Will it be webinar style or meeting style? If it's webinar, don't even do it. Don't sponsor it. It's just a waste. Unless it's super low dollar, I wouldn't even mess with it. And a lot of summits, I think, are difficult because a lot of summits are pre-recorded, and it's just hard to get your energy up and to be on point and on fire for something that's pre-recorded versus when you can look people in the eyes and you see them here. Next question you're going to ask is, how many other speakers will there be? How many other speakers will there be? If it's a pitch-a-thon, I would have real second guesses about a pitch-a-thon, because people are tired of that. They don't get value out of it. The reason 3-day events are great is they're typically getting a ton of value from the host. And on a typical 3-day event, there's maybe 5 guest speakers. So the audience isn't bombarded with other offers, and they'll really value your offer. You want to ask what else is being sold. You want to make sure, if you're paying sponsorship money, that none of the other sponsors are offering something that could compete with what you do. Now, I really don't believe in competition. I believe people are going to work with people they love. Having said that, if you're paying good money, typically in the seminar industry, the etiquette is you only have one sponsor per industry. So like, it would just be crappy if you had someone selling a CRM and someone else selling a CRM. Now they got to compete with each other. Speaking of competing, breakout rooms. I hate breakout rooms because, like, Susie, I'm looking at Susie, and Susie's an old friend. Let's suppose Susie and I are on the same event and we have breakout rooms at the same time. now I feel like I'm fighting with Susie for people, and I love Susie. I want people to learn from Susie, and she probably wants them to learn from me. So I think breakout rooms suck. I prefer not to sponsor them if I can help it. Lunchtime sponsorships just for the VIPs. Those are great. So maybe at a virtual event, there's 150 attendees and there's 75 VIPs. Those 75 are more committed because they paid to be a VIP. How you buy is how you sell. They're typically playing at a higher level. They're probably more committed. So I'm happy to speak to just the VIPs. By the way, y'all, you want to go VIP because how you buy is how you sell, and you want people to buy VIP when you do your 3-day events eventually. So you want to know what else is being sold, and you want to know what the sponsor is selling, because you want to make sure, I mean, the host, what the host is selling, because you want to make sure that what the host is selling doesn't conflict with you and that you can be a complement to it. And then whether it's in person or virtual, go ahead and ask if a booth is included. If it's in person, you do want a booth attached with your speaking gig. The opposite's not true. You don't want to buy a booth without a speaking gig, but if you do a speaking gig, you want to have a booth because you're going to offer your discovery calls or free tickets to an event or whatever. And then what you can do is say, hey, if you have other questions you want to chat, come see me at my booth. And then at the booth, well, I'll tell you this, we sponsored an event in Reno about a month ago. How many people were there? I think there were 70 something when I spoke. It was $2,500, and I do a revenue share with this person. But we had like half the room got tickets to our event. And when we were there, we sold a $25,000 coaching package. So we more than paid for that sponsorship at that in-person event. So you want to have a booth. And then your final question, when will I be speaking? And I'll say it again, if it's a 3-day in-person event, you want to speak early. If it's a virtual event, I don't care when I speak. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do well no matter when I speak at a virtual event. So you want to know when you are speaking. You do want to ask, though, make sure there is a break when you finish. Make sure they take a break so that it's a registration break. And if it's an in-person event, you want to ask permission for you to send everyone to break. Because the worst thing that can happen is you get people going to the back table to buy or sign up, or they're on their phone signing up for your thing. And someone else comes on stage and goes, all right, everybody, it's time for lunch. People just completely forget committing to their future because it's lunchtime. So you want to make sure no one but you sends them to break. And then you say, everybody, 10-minute registration break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. So everybody gets signed up or come see me at my booth right now. Awesome. Rosabelle asked, would I have a booth at a virtual event? I really don't care. We get very little traffic at booths. I mean, we've sponsored events with 600 people and had a booth, and maybe over the course of 3 days, like 20 people came by. I think booths are kind of a waste of time at a virtual event. And let me put these in the chat for you guys that have stuck around. Boom, there's your questions to ask. All right, so was this super valuable for y'all? I see fire from Alicia. Awesome. I'd like to hear from a couple people. Please raise your digital hand. What's your biggest takeaway from today? What's your biggest, Alicia, you asked a question, you said it was fire. I'm going to bring you up, and then if hands don't go up, I'm going to call people randomly. What's your big takeaway, Alicia, from today?
Really, Jase, my takeaway is that you are just the master at this. And I'm so excited to be coming to your event. And
yay.
fabulous.
You guys, thank you for that. I mean, it's like one of those success stories, 20 years in the making. The way the market is now, and guys, sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle. Right now, we have lightning in a bottle. And I want you guys to get it so you can use it. And guys, there's all these different ways to grow a business, and I'm sure they're valid and people teach what works for them. The fastest path to cash right now is speak, set discovery calls, and make sales. That's it. I mean, you don't have to be a genius for this. It's so easy. Let's send Alicia a big whoosh. Thank you. Sherry put in the chat, her biggest takeaway is something she should do once she knows her closing stats. Really, it's something, you guys, what's the one thing you need before you start sponsoring on stages? A high converting presentation. Because if you get on stage and you bomb, you just wasted a bunch of money. So we're going to work on your presentation during the event. You got to have a high converting presentation, and you have to know how to sell. because you're going to be booking discovery calls, which are sales calls. And if you suck at sales calls, it's just wasted money and time. So you're actually, for the VIPs, we're going to do some training on one-to-one sales as well. Who else would like to share? Oh, Sophia and Evan. We'll go Sophia, Evan, and we'll wrap it up. Sophia, thanks for raising your hand. What's your big takeaway?
My big takeaway is that you give great swag, because you sent us these mugs a year ago, and this is the best mug I've ever had. It keeps my tea hot for 12 hours.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. That was a great event last year. I don't remember exactly what it was. Anyway, I love your sincerity and your commitment to helping everyone. It's really refreshing and heartening. So I wish you continued success, and for all of us.
Awesome. Yes, all of us. I can't wait to see you next week. Let's send Sophia a big whoosh. Thank you, Sophia. That's awesome. I'll see you there. I love you guys having your cameras on, and we'll wrap up with Evan. What do you got, Evan?
Yeah, the takeaway, couple things. One is the value of knowing your numbers so you can calculate what sponsorship makes sense. And also just working on nailing down my client avatar so that I can narrow down what stages would have those ideal clients to crunch the numbers as well for profitability.
Beautiful. And, so Evan teaches people how to work with their, Evan, how would you summarize what you do? How would you tell everybody real quick?
Help people align their finances with their values and set it up so that your psychological biases don't blow up your future.
Yep. I would say he helps people protect their money, make a lot more money, save their money, protect it from taxes, and grow tax-free. Helps people get wealthy. So having said all that, he teaches how to get wealthy. And so he could get at stages you might not expect, like chiropractor conventions and dentist conventions and doctor conventions, because they have cash and they're looking for what to do with it. So those could be great stages for you. And you mentioned lifetime value. Let's send Evan off, and I'll give you guys that are here one more thought because you stayed so long. Ready? So one more thought on lifetime value. You guys, when you're looking at how much you could spend on the sponsorship, when you start to when you can sell well, like from the stage, you got a great presentation, you can move people to book a call or buy a ticket, and then your one-on-one sales skills are good. The lifetime value goes back to the conversation I was having earlier about the 5 and 20. Your lifetime value is not that first $5,000 sale. It's that $20,000 sale. So if you can speak on a stage and 10 people will buy at 5,000, that's $50,000. That's a nice payday. If though, 30% of those are going to buy a $20,000 product, that's $60,000. So that means from one speaking gig, it resulted in $110,000 in sales eventually. So I don't want you to spend $100,000 to get that $110,000, but it suddenly makes that $5,000 or $20,000 investment much more doable, because over the course of a couple of years, it's going to come back to you. Your first challenge right now, though, y'all, start getting on stages and selling these $5,000 things so you get your bills paid, pay for coaching, pay for what you need, and then start to take a piece of that money and roll that into more $5,000 sponsorships. Then that's going to grow, and then you can get the $10,000, $20,000 sponsorships. Or the last thing you're going to do, and this is we talked about your own stage. The last thing you're going to do from these other people events is, let me erase a bunch of this. Remember, we talked about having someone else getting on that stage that someone else built. The last thing you're going to do, but it's a huge mistake to do this up front. You want to get your chops, but you get on that stage and you give a ticket or sell 97 to a 197 ticket to your 3-day event. How are you going to help pay for your 3-day event? You're going to sell sponsorship spots, which help you get on more stages. And then at your 3-day event, you're going to sell your own 25K program. The place to sell 25 and 20K programs are from your own 3-day event. But you guys, if you haven't been, does it make any sense to host your own 3-day event and go for a big sale like that if you haven't been selling people into a 5K program and you haven't been speaking a bunch to get better on stage? It makes no sense. So the first step is we got to get you a great presentation, get you great at sales, get you on some stages, start making those 5K sales. Then in about a year, let's get you into the 3-day event. And that's where you go to multiple 6 figures to multiple 7 figures. Does that make sense, y'all? And here's how the numbers work. You speak at a bunch of places and you get 100 people to your event and your goal is 20%. Let's suppose you do 20%. Let's suppose you do 22%. You knock it out of the park. That's 22 people times 25K. That's 100. How much is that? 22 times 25. It's a lot of money. That's $550,000. And the coaches that you see that are out there that are 7-figure coaches, this is what they're doing. But all of them started with a great presentation, selling into a lower price point, and then they earned their way to the 3-day stage. So you guys rock. I love you guys. Thanks for being on. Please tell your friends.